Good morning, friends, and welcome to Unity South as we celebrate once again. I'd like to welcome all of you who are joining us by Facebook Live, and as always, I invite you to push that share button and send this wonderful time of prayer, meditation, music, and lesson out to your friends. Give them a taste of what Unity South is all about. Today's wonderful team that is making this all possible, I would like to welcome. I am Reverend James Stacy. My worship assistant this morning is Carlotta Pose. We have our Director of Music, Judy Moen, and our special guest vocalist, Holly Circle, joining us today. And our tech team, as always, includes Patty Tangi, Don Ramler, Adam Schneider, and I believe that does it for today. So thank you, friends, for making this possible so that we can send this word of encouragement out to not only our members and friends, but many who are joining us in distant locations. So I invite you to join with me in this opening prayer. We gather today in this Sunday celebration, and although we do not know what will happen tomorrow, we can still trust the divine order of your Almighty Spirit today. We open our hearts and minds to good today so that we might be prepared to receive and to appreciate tomorrow's blessings. Beyond our individual concerns and prayerful requests, we also recognize a multitude of needs in our world family. Let us direct our faith and gratitude toward the fulfillment of all good human desires. For we are certain of your continual bestowment of the very substance that will manifest for our highest good. Father, Mother God, by whatever religious traditions we follow, help us to act with mental clarity and trusting hearts. Jesus Christ, you modeled faith and trust in divine order as you fed the multitude, giving thanks first for the supply that was to come. And you reminded us to give thanks for tomorrow's daily bread. Wherever we are physically in this moment, we gather in our collective intention and invoke your presence and substantial good in this very hour with our statement of being. And I invite us all to join in one voice as we affirm, there is but one presence and one power in my life, in this church, and in the universe, God, the omnipotent good. And to prepare our hearts for the service of celebration, I invite you to join with me in surely the presence of the Lord is in this place.
Good morning. I am Carlotta Pose, today's service assistant. While our state is practicing social distancing, thank you for joining our Unity tradition of spiritual connecting. First, we welcome visitors joining our Unity South Sunday service for the first time. We honor your virtual presence this morning. I invite everyone to welcome these new friends with this affirmation. We welcome you, we bless you, and we're glad you have joined us online. As we gather in mind and heart this morning, let me welcome all members and friends of Unity South. Your virtual presence for this live stream is so important to the well-being of Unity South. Although our building is now closed, our community is thriving in the connections we are forming online. We can be together in mind and heart in this very moment. I invite all of us to hold this thought. I behold the Christ in you. Hold your palms together at the level of your heart. Gently speak the acknowledgement. The Christ in me beholds the Christ in you. We encourage you throughout the week to pause and hold this intention as you remember our Unity South family. Now let us allow our awareness to expand to include all of humanity. People throughout the world are gathering this week to acknowledge the God of their understanding. Wherever and of whatever faith tradition, humanity is expressing compassion, cooperation, goodwill, and trust in the power of life to heal and protect our wonderful world. I invite us, joining as Unity South Twin Cities, to affirm our traditional centering statement with focused thought and warmth of feeling. Centered in God, assured by faith, and prospered by divine love, we boldly move forward to serve humanity by building our lives and Unity South Church together. And our announcements. Join us next Sunday, June 21st, as Reverend Stacy offers his lesson, What Would Dad Do? On this Father's Day 2020, we honor our fathers, grandfathers, and men who have guided us in life. Father God, or the Father Principle, is the representative of infinite wisdom on which we can depend. This lesson will not only highlight our gratitude towards our father figures, but will take us into the deep wisdom of the ideal father. Our guest musician will be David Malmberg. Now let us prepare for a time of community prayer as I read the daily word for June 14th. Divine order. Divine order is always unfolding in my life and in the world. As spring ripens into summer each year, new leaves transform bare trees into canopies of green. Tiny seedlings grow into sturdy plants and decorate the landscape with an array of colorful blossoms. I marvel at the divine order demonstrated as the earth renews itself. I recognize that even as the earth appeared barren in wintertime, new life was preparing to spring forth. I notice this pattern in my life. I may be demonstrating visible growth in my life, or like the earth in winter, it may seem that my life is stagnant and barren. I remember that as the season of nature changes, so do the seasons of my life. Even when it is not apparent to me, I know that divine order is always unfolding in my life and in the world. From Mark 4:28. The earth produces of itself, first the stalk, then the head, then the full grain in the head. Divine order is always unfolding in my life and in the world.
Dear friends, now it is our time of privilege, of responsibility, and joy to join together in community prayer. So I invite you to allow your attention to turn within, not within yourself in isolation, but to turn within to the inner essence of your life, the life of our Unity South community, the life of our greater city, nation, and world. To turn within is to go into the essence, the presence of spiritual power that stands behind all manifest things. So I invite you to gently close your eyes if you choose, as a guide toward this inner experience. Father, Mother God, we acknowledge that you are always and everywhere present. The impulse of life, the mighty power, the essential substance that stands behind all of your creation. What an inspiring idea to recognize your presence and your power. To realize that we can rest in the very heart of you, our Creator. Outer concerns, anxieties, even joys and excitements of the outer world gently fade away as we rest in the peace, wisdom, and ever-abiding love of your presence in us, among us, through and beyond all. We join with our friends at Silent Unity, the World Ministry of Prayer, and we enter into their consciousness of divine presence. A vigil of thought that has been held consistently for 125 years. We enter that flow of great expectations. In this affirmative statement, all wisdom is within. I turn within to know all I need to know in the silence. Let me be still now and silent, receptive to the gentle flow of inner wisdom. I do not scatter my attention by grasping for answers all around me. Instead, I am still and silent, attentive to divine wisdom. Father, Mother God, how wonderfully you have created us. We can look out into our world, gathering sensations, ideas, connections with others, and we can turn inward and know your presence at the very center of our being and experience restoration, balance, healing, realigning with the truth of who you have created each one of us to be. Your ideal manifestation of life, wisdom, love. I invite us in this collective prayer to remember those who have written prayer requests to Unity South and the millions who have turned to Silent Unity. We hold these friends in our collective heart. We know they have many human concerns, but in their very act of reaching, of striving for a greater awareness of God, of good, of life in their daily existence, they do move forward on the path of good that is designed for them individually. We stand as a witness to their truth. Dear friend, you can step forward in confidence. Stepping forward in your faith, in radiant health. Supply for your good desires, and harmony and compassion and cooperation in all your relationships with others. Step forward with great expectations. And the infinite love and power of our God will sustain you, balance you, heal you, prosper you. We hold this faith with you. Your greater good is coming into expression now. Let us now raise our time of prayer to its highest realization as we hold the perfect prayer ideals that Jesus taught to his disciples, the Lord's Prayer. I invite you to sing it with me.
charge. I need not worry. He'll protect you night and day. God's in charge. I need not worry. She will guide you on your way. Peace be with you, oh my dear one. Peace be with you, precious child. Peace be with you, oh my dear one. Peace be with you, precious child.
Thank you, Holly and Judy, for creating a perfect mood of soul for the intention of my lesson this morning. I often tell our musicians that their gift to the service is my treat, because I don't always know what they're going to perform. And so I listen with great expectation to see what they have chosen to bring to the theme of today's lesson. Well, I have to tell you, a few weeks ago, as I was working on the schedule of lessons, and I entitled the lesson for today, "When You Don't Know What is Going to Happen Next." Well, I carried that thought around with me, and I have to confess that often I discovered it was causing me anxiety and inner nervousness. Sometimes I don't know what's going on. Does that feeling ever develop within you? The other day I was shopping in Target, and I was kind of lost as I was smelling one scented candle after another. And you know, after about 10 of them, I tend to get a little bit lightheaded. And all of a sudden, a man at the end of the aisle said, "Do you have a problem with us?" I was startled in my bliss. I didn't understand what was happening. And then he said, "Yes, I'm talking to you." I didn't really know how to respond, and then suddenly he ran down the aisle and out of the store. Well, I was still perplexed, and I set aside my feelings and centered myself, and I thought, that man must be very stressed about something. And I realized that likely it wasn't about me personally. And I held a brief prayer thought. May he find peace. That was a very brief, little, unexpected encounter compared to the activities in our cities and even around the world. This is a time of great change, but also a time for great discoveries in all areas of life. Stop and think, I'm sure you have many times, of every challenge that is upon us. We can be overwhelmed with fear, anxiety, or at the very least, annoyance. Or we can be energized by the possibilities before our world for healing, justice, discovery, transformation, and awakening. Think of the new skills we are acquiring, the possibilities in education, science, technology, social justice, and much more. Just look right here and right now. Before social distancing and the stay-at-home orders began, this Sunday service didn't go beyond these walls. Although we have distributed audio recordings of the lesson for a long time, however, through this online service, we're reaching out beyond these sanctuary walls. I'll just stop and say hello now to our friends outside the Twin Cities. I know you're watching this morning in Iowa, Missouri, Florida, New York, and I'm sure places that I'm not even aware of yet. New friends joining our community through this marvel of technology. There are millions of expansive discoveries going on around the world. When we don't know what's going to happen next, we must begin with our expectations. The late Eric Butterworth, beloved Unity minister and author in New York City, claimed in several of his books that what we attract is not what we pray for, nor what we are, but instead we attract what we expect. What we expect. I'm sure he shocked those in his church and the readers of his books, because we're very often trained by habit to believe that if we hold the right prayers, say the right words, then everything in our life will balance out. But Eric Butterworth wanted to be very clear that there's something more essential, something deeper in us than the outer words, the formal prayers. It is the consistent expectation we hold. Are we dreading all of these problems in our communities? Or are we anticipating all the discoveries? Are we isolating in our personal routines? Or are we opening to new communal experiences and connections? The results truly are up to us, up to our approach to each experience and each new day. Now, here's a little interesting story that I would like to share with you. Shiva and Shakti, the divine couple in Hinduism, are in their heavenly abode and watching over the earth. They are touched by the challenges of human life, the complexities of human reactions, and the ever-present place of suffering in the human experience. As they watch, Shakti spies a miserable poor man walking down the road. His clothes are shabby, and his sandals are tied to his feet with rope. Her heart is wrung with compassion, touched by his essential goodness and his struggle. Shakti turns to her divine husband and implores him to give this man some gold. Shiva looks at the man for a long moment. "My dearest wife," he says, "I cannot do that." Shakti is astounded. "Why, what do you mean, husband? You are the Lord of the universe. Why can't you do this simple thing?" "I cannot give this to him because he is not yet ready to receive it," Shiva replies. Shakti becomes angry. "Do you mean to say that you cannot drop a bag of gold in his path?" "Surely I can," Shiva replies, "but that is quite another thing." "Please, husband," says Shakti. And so Shiva drops a bag of gold in the man's path. The man, meanwhile, walks along, thinking to himself, "I wonder if I will find dinner tonight, or shall I go hungry again?" Turning a bend in the road, he sees something on the path in his way. "Look there," he says, "a large rock. How fortunate that I have seen it. I might have torn these poor sandals of mine even further." And carefully stepping over the bag of gold, he goes on his way. We could update this story. Maybe the poor man unexpectedly received a winning lottery ticket. How would the story unfold? What would he do with sudden extreme wealth? Would he be ready to manage the money? Some gifts we are prepared to easily receive, and other gifts require a lot of work. You know those different kinds of gifts. Some are consumables. Yum! Others are educational or developmental. Perhaps a painting set or a needlepoint kit. Someone recently gave me a diet book. Yikes, these developmental gifts require a lot of work. Just give me the fruit baskets of life. Often, rocks, obstacles, or just changing circumstances appear on the path of our life. Whether or not we discover the gold is another matter. What happens is up to us. There are creative mental tools that can help us to uncover the gold within anything we encounter. Here's just a hint of what you can do. Be a prospector. Look for the gold or the good in your day. Be an alchemist. Transform your suffering, your experience, into a discovery. Be a scientist. Look for the related ideas working behind the experience. Be a psychologist. What does this experience mean to me? What do I feel about it? Or you can be a cleric or spiritual leader, creating rituals around the experience so that the experience is remembered. You learn from it. You celebrate it as a blessing, even though it may have appeared as a challenge. God created us as thinking, feeling, willing souls. We have so many inner tools with which to transform every experience, even the painful events of life, into the inner gold of understanding and evolving consciousness. Walking the path of life with great expectations does more than transform each event into a new discovery. Maintaining the expectancy of good in our mindset opens our heart to the world and to individuals. We begin to listen to others in a deeper way. Rather than casting their behavior in the light of our life, we can begin to hear their stories. Our Unity Prayer Chaplains are trained to listen from the heart. In other words, to not only hear the outer facts of a person's story as they ask for prayer, but to be mindful of the deeper levels of their experience. They may speak of their family, their neighborhood, their workplace, but behind their words is a much deeper human longing to be acknowledged, respected, to feel secure, and that they have a valued place in this world, that they belong. I'm so excited in these present days. Well, I guess I'll date myself, because I've been humming throughout the week that old disco song from the Pointer Sisters. Remember? I'm so excited. Well, I won't go on. The lyrics get a little bit racy, but it was the disco days. But I'm so excited. We can create more stress or more understanding. We can experience fear of the new or anticipation of the possibilities. There are billions of gifts around our world. The thoughtful, consumable gifts we receive are practical, easy, and delicious to enjoy. But then there are those educational, developmental gifts we sometimes receive. They remind me of my father, who would often say as he opened a gift, mind you, he had a twinkle in his eye, "Oh, just what I always wanted, but not very much." So those gifts can be ignored, put on a shelf, or at worst, hated or feared. Or we can take them on and develop new capacities in our souls, new understanding, greater compassion and cooperation, deeper authenticity, more consistent integrity. The gift list is endless. I invite you, if you aren't ready, or if you're there partially, gear yourself up. Sing a disco song if you need to, but get excited. Build up your expectations of what is afoot in our world today. Yes, there is pain and there is suffering, and there is confusion and anxiety. But because we know in truth that Father, Mother, God is always and everywhere present, there are spiritual tools, essential abilities that we can call forth and meet one another anew. Meet one another with a greater sense of connection. I know it's not easy. I struggle with it myself. But as I mentioned a few moments ago, this wonderful Unity Prayer Chaplain training called Listening from the Heart, you might even consider in the coming year to take training to be a Unity Prayer Chaplain, because you get this wonderful gift of developing or further enhancing your ability to listen from the heart. And what that means is, in these very agitated times when people share with you their opinion about what should be done, you can hear what they're sharing with you both in their outer words and their specific actions, but you can also hear them with your heart. You can hear them in a deeper way. And know that this is a human being who may have great concerns or fears, but they also have great compassion. And they have a great desire that this world be better for everyone. A little practice I do with myself. I don't remember from whom I picked it up, but often when I encounter someone in my world, like that man in Target that kind of shocked me, I like to just hold in my mind, you know, that person, they have people in their life that they love and are important. That person has dreams and desires in their soul that they're yearning for. Don't forget that just because of some outer words or outer action. They're a child of God too, with hopes and dreams. In your interaction with them, you can challenge them, you can be forceful, or you can truly listen. You can lift them up. You can help them on their way. Like that song Dr. King used to sing, if I can help somebody, if I can help somebody. So let us now spend a few moments in the silence and allow the ideas of this lesson to bring forth, through divine order, the growth that our daily word spoke of today. That we can trust divine life in its orderly progression. Where we forgive, there will be renewal. Where we support and love others, there will be a new connection formed. Good will come of our great expectations that lead us into our fruitful, compassionate actions. So let us now turn to a time of inner meditation. I invite you to just close your eyes, do whatever you need to do to allow yourself to go to a still, peaceful, secure, silent place. Let me speak once again our silent unity affirmation for today. All wisdom is within. I turn within to know all I need to know in the silence. Let me be still now and silent, receptive to the gentle flow of inner wisdom. I do not scatter my attention by grasping for answers all around me. Instead, I am still and silent, attentive to ever-present spiritual wisdom. I invite you to gently allow, without anxiety, without fear or discomfort, allow some obstacle, challenge, change, or some new circumstance in your life. Perhaps a change at work, a new job, a new way of following your education, educating your children. Just allow something that has seemed like a rock in the path of your life come to mind. What feelings are coming up around it? Are there thoughts about it that linger in your mind day after day? See a different image of it. If it were a wrapped gift in front of you, rather than a rock in your path, would you like to open it, discover it, explore it, get to know it? Are you willing to learn new skills, or perhaps adjust your attitude in order to work with it and prospect the golden potential within it? Let us now be still, receptive to the truth, resting in the peace of prayer. For we are one mind, one heart, one intention. Together we can discover gold. Ever-present Spirit, guide me, teach me, lead me to discover gold, value, opportunity in what seem to be obstacles on my daily path. I trust the divine order of your creation. In those words of Jesus, I know what I have sown in my mind as seed will come forth, first as a blade, then the ear of corn, then the full-grown grain in the ear. Your divine order stands behind all things. And as I plant great expectations, a willingness to discover, the opportunities come. The strength to explore appears. And the discernment of a loving heart is mine. Wow. Wow. What a world of wonders do we live in. Let us give thanks and say amen. So it is, and so we let it be. And as you're ready, gently open your eyes and know that you see this world and your place in it in a new way. Eyes filled with great expectation for all the discoveries each and all of us together can make. And so it is. Thanks be to God.
Think of your fellow man, lend him a helping hand, put a little love in your heart. You say it's getting late, oh please don't hesitate, put a little love in your heart, and the world will be a better place, and the world will be a better place for you and me. Just wait and see. Another day goes by, still those children cry. Put a little love in your heart. If you want the world to know, we won't let hatred grow. Put a little love in your heart, and the world will be a better place, and the world will be a better place for you and me. Just wait and see. Take a good look around, and if you're looking down, put a little love in your heart. I hope when you decide, kindness will be your guide. Put a little love in your heart, and the world will be a better place, and the world will be a better place for you and me. Just wait and see. Put a little love in your heart. Everybody, put a little love in your heart. Make a difference. Put a little love in your heart. Put a little love in your heart.
Thank you, Holly. And now we are going to bless our gifts. We are grateful for all the gifts sent by mail or given online at unitysouth.org. So wherever you are physically, know that we are one in our intention to support Unity South Twin Cities. Together, we will keep the ministry energized to complete its important mission so that all who turn to Unity South will be embraced, loved, and empowered by our collective consciousness. God loves this world, and so do we. I invite you to take your gift in your hands or hold your online giving receipt. Or if you give monthly, hold in mind your financial commitment. And together, let us bless these gifts. Divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all the good that I am and have, all the good that I give and receive, and I am grateful.
Well, it's time for a call to action, some of you may know as homework. I invite you to hold these intentions. This week, I will praise something in my community each day. I will appreciate and increase its value in my mind. I know whatever I praise does increase. I become open and receptive, filled with great expectations of good, even when I don't know what's going to happen next. So now, let us bring our service to a graceful conclusion as we hold our unity prayer for protection. In these days of physical separation, let us be spiritually connected in the profound idea that the universal Christ will always lead us and will benefit our individual lives and our world. If you do not know the words to our prayer for protection, hear my words in your heart and know that we are never alone. Together, the light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. And we can say, Amen.